There once was a time in not-so-distant past when penguins ruled many lands in the sea of organizations. These penguins were not always wise. They were not always popular, but they were always in charge.
The meeting will come to order.
Most organizations looked the same. Top executives and managers wore their distinctive penguin suits, while worker birds were outfits reflecting their jobs and their lifestyles.
Classes were offered on appropriate penguin-like behavior. Birds who aspired to move up the pecking order were encouraged to become as penguin-like as possible.
The elder penguins would take younger penguins under their wings and coach them how to be successful. Other birds never quite made it into key positions. It was clear that the penguins felt most comfortable around each other.
The penguins had mastered the challenges and dangers of their environment. They were confident in their penguin ways. Their world was orderly, predictable, and safe.
But there came a time when things began to change in the land of penguins as new birds began to join their ranks.
Among the arrivals was Perry the peacock,
Hi, what do you do?
bright, colorful, and noisy bird.
Perry, how do you do?
Oh, delicious.
Pleased to meet you. How's it going? Good. Glad to be aboard.
He was creative and imaginative, and at the same time, practical and simple. The penguins were fascinated with the possibility that he represented. They thought he had real penguin potential. Perry, in turn, looked forward to the promise of status, wealth, a sense of belonging to a great and powerful enterprise. He felt certain that his future would be bright in this new land.
Perry the peacock.
Perry worked hard to earn his way and prove himself in the land of penguins.
Peacock here. Be right with you. Hi, hello there.
As time went on, Perry's struggles began.
Some of the penguins began to grumble that his distinctive peacock voice was too loud,
Can I call you back? Is there someone at the door?
and his colorful feathers were too flashy.
Can I help you?
A couple of the penguins took Perry aside.
Look, Perry, we like your work, but some of the penguins are uncomfortable with you. Why don't you put on a penguin suit so you look more like us?
Well, I'll give it a try. No, it doesn't fit. It's too tight and constraining. I can't work like that.
Well, then maybe you could tone your voice down a little so you sound like Rustops.
What's wrong with the way I am? Aren't my accomplishments more important than my feathers and my voice? Why do I have to change?
It's just the way things are.
Perry believed that their intentions were good, but their words wounded him nonetheless. Confused and hurt, he decided to discuss his problems with some of the other new birds. Jack the Jaybird complained that he too was getting criticized.
Hey, I got an idea.
He jumped around the organization, stirring up activity with his endless ideas.
Hey,
But in the process, he violated the penguins' pecking order
why don't we...
and upset their chain of command.
Oh, it's so hard to get anything done in this place.
The story was similar with Helen the Hawk. She was intelligent, ambitious,
Well,
With keen competitive instincts, she was a top producer, but her hawk-like nature made the elders uncomfortable.
They never comment on my work. They complain about my aggressiveness.
Sarah the Swan got just the opposite criticism.
Meeting is open for discussion. Maurice, it is my opinion that our market will withstand the
Penguin said she wasn't tough enough.
future, as the case may be.
She had lots of good ideas, but she was so
Well, it seems to
soft-spoken
me
that the penguins never listened to her.
Hey,
Richard,
Our research shows that analysts will take into consideration all possibilities regardless of competitive
and future events. Meeting adjourned.
Oh, why bother?
Over time, things got worse for Perry and his friends.
You know, these birds are really different.
Hey! Oh, sorry.
You're right. They don't fit in at all.
hi, how's it going?
I don't agree. I kind of like them. They're like a breath of fresh air. Maybe we could use some new ideas and perspectives around here. Oh, I don't know about that.
The penguins had a dilemma. How much diversity could they tolerate in their land without destroying their proud culture? Why change the style that had made them great?
Perry and his friend had a dilemma too. How much should they try to change to fit in? What price were they willing to pay for success?
Some of the new birds tried their best to look and act like penguins.
Others tried to change the culture rather than let the culture change them.
Still others just gave up. They thought it was hopeless.
Everyone struggled with the situation. It seemed to be an impossible standoff.
Frustrated and discouraged, Perry decided to keep to himself as much as possible.
Call me if I can help you with anything else.
One day, off in the distance, he saw something unusual.
Wolves!
Those penguins will be such an easy takeover. Yeah, they're so bureaucratic, set in their ways. They can't fly, so they'll never see us coming.
Perry rushed to alert the penguins.
Hey, everybody! The land of penguins is in danger! I saw wolves in the distance, and they're out of our way!
Oh, really? You must be mistaken. There've never been wolves in our territory before.
I saw them with my own eyes.
Well, maybe we should put together a committee and...
There's no time for that! Here, see for yourself!
He's right. And they are awfully close.
We've got to figure something out!
The birds put their heads together, came up with a plan to trap the wolves, and sprang into action. Perry took his place at the top of the cliff. Sarah, knowing that they viewed her as soft and weak, took on the job of decoy.
Jack, ignoring protocol, sounded the alarm, alerting all the birds. Helen soared into the sky to coordinate everyone's movements.
To the cliff! To the cliff!
To the cliff! Come on, everybody, to the cliff!
Okay, Sarah, you're on!
The penguins looked at Perry and his friends with new appreciation. They realized that the very things they had criticized about the birds actually helped to save them and their land.
They knew their world was changing, and that there would be new dangers in the future. They had to find better ways of working together,
Won't be easy. They still had a lot to learn about each other.
but they had no choice. Their future depended on it.
Nice tie.